please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thanks for coming, everybody. Roll call, please.
Mark Bouchard.
Here.
Maureen Bory.
Here.
Joanne Shirkey.
Here.
Artie Bryson.
Here.
Christy Hilton.
Here.
Crystal Regan.
Here.
Cindy Valentine here.
Okay, we're all here. We made it in. Hooray. Bills payable. I will entertain a motion.
Board, I'll make a motion to approve bills payable in the amount of $87,709.82.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Christy Hilton.
Yes.
Crystal Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Mark Bouchard.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Next is our supervisors report. And let's see, water plant update. We received our water rate computations for the year ending of 2021. And we had an estimated, what they do, they estimate what we're going to pay, and then we do this look back thing and calculate what the actual charge should have been based on our expenses. And our estimated charge was $2.8651 per 1,000 gallons, but the actual was $2.54.67 per 1,000 gallons. So we received an $85,000 credit, which they're going to apply to our bill. So that's a good thing. And I got our estimated rate for the upcoming year of $2.99 per 1,000 gallons. And our Phragmities program is back. We found the chemicals. They're in stock. They're ordered. Did they come in yet? I'm not sure if they came in yet or not.
I don't believe they're in yet.
I don't think they have. But they will be coming, so we won't have to buy water buffalo to eat the frags this year.
Would have been cool, though.
Yeah, it would have been. I've been meeting with the Patrol Officers Union. We're having a negotiation over wages. More to that are coming up soon. We did close on the water line easement purchase last week, and the deed's been up at the county seat, recorded. Still, as always, we got a lot of building and blight issues. Working on next year's budget. In fact, I set a budget meeting for this coming Wednesday at 9 a.m. here. I'll tell you, it's been a very challenging process this year, just getting costs in. And it's been frustrating and challenging in both ways. And thank God we bonded out for MERS, because our MERS costs would have been really crazy. And we're still feeling the effects, even though we're pretty much funded now. Like a lot of people's 401ks, they all took a hit. So did our MERS, and the township has to make up for that. And so, like I say, this has been a challenging budget year, to say the least. Been dealing with EGLE on permits on the Harsens Island Nature Park. We're in discussions with them. We may lose our walking path. I'm talking to them about it. It is prairie lands and wetlands, and but we wanted to do a walking path with a soft, like with wood chips and stuff. And we're still talking about it. it's definitely a negotiation. Hey, we did receive a payment over $29,000. I'm not sure exactly what the number is, for our sewer fix that we had to do on Butterfield. And thanks for Chris O'Regan. He was the go-between with the insurance company in Clay Township, and they stepped up and made the township whole again. So kudos to you, Chris, and I wanted the board, we got our money back, so the township is whole from that emergency fix we had to do.
I was glad to help.
See, I attended Algonac Clay Museum Board meeting, and also a red ribbon cutting at the Harsens Island Museum this past week or two. We have really cool museums. They're special, actually. If you get a chance to visit them, the two over here in Algonac and the one on the island, kudos to them. I know it's a lot of work maintaining and just collecting all the artifacts and things. So we actually did finish. We put gutters on the concession stand in the park. Ordered pickleball nets for the park too. We've been getting a lot of action of pickleball. We've been getting between 10 and 15 people during the week. I've been talking to them. I asked them what kind of nets do we want, and they said order these. I ordered them. They weren't that much, and we got a deck box, a nice deck box we're going to put out there to store the nets and pickleball stuff in there, because they get like novice that just show up too without equipment and everything. So I just want to let the board know we did that. We attended a lot of red ribbon cuttings. Red ribbon cutting event for the No Limits fishing charters at the Pearl Beach Pier. It was very well attended. I don't know, I had 60. The paper actually said there was 100 people there. A lot of people from Macomb County was there. Mr. Hackle was there, and there's some people from WJR, the radio station. It was just a really good event. And they had some really good hot dogs and sausages, and everybody was on the pier. They enjoyed the pier, and they're saying, boy, this is pretty nice here. And thank you. Yes, it is. I also attended 3 different homeowners association meetings the past couple of weeks. They're always interesting to go to. The County Parks and Rec will be hosting another public information hearing here in Clay, June 14th. That's a Tuesday at 6 o'clock about the county beach at the park that they're looking at putting in. So they're doing their second public hearing, June 14th, Tuesday, 6 o'clock here. Music in the Park started, and it's been going pretty good. We got a really good lineup of bands this year. And the Township Cleanup Weekend is this coming weekend, June 11th on the mainland, and June 11th and 12th on the island. And we're doing it in conjunction on the mainland with the city of Algonac, which I've been trying to get them to do this for a while, because it seems like we get people from the city of Algonac taking advantage of our dumpsters. And I goes, hey, you guys got to step up here. And they did. So they actually are having the same program, the dumpsters and everything, same time this June 11th. And we will be scheduling another one in October. I think that's people like that. It's a popular thing, and it helps cleans up our township. A lot of parks and rec activities going on, and just wanted to mention too, this past weekend we had Algonac Rotary did an event in Algonac, the beer, wine, and cocktails festival. That was a really good event. 1,200 people, they sold out again. And the good thing about it was 85% of the people are from out of town that come here, spend money, and they look at, it leaves them with our community in a good light. A lot of the people that, as I work it, were never even been here or not much here, and or just drove through it, and they said, boy, this is really nice here. So that's a good event. Just wanted to mention too, the Bicentennial coins, I got an email today, they shipped out today. I didn't look at the tracking, but they are on their way, because I know we've been getting a lot of people asking for that. And big congrats to Jerry Doan. He passed his water as supply 2 test today. Actually, when did he do it? Thursday? Friday?
He actually found out about it last Friday.
Okay, he found out about it Friday. And that's a very tough test. I think he said 116 people tested for it and 67 failed out of that. It's a
Pretty high rate.
fail. It's a tough test. So congrats to Jerry. And
What's the certification called?
it's a supply S2.
S2?
Yeah, supply S, same that Lance and John has.
Yeah.
I know he was relieved and happy about it. So congrats to Jerry. And that's all I have. Okay. Any public comments? Do we have any public comments? Public comments, going once, twice, 3 times? Okay. We'll roll right into the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the board meeting minutes of May 18th, payroll and board-approved check reports, as well as in-between meetings. Communication was a thank you from the Council on Aging and the Road Watch the week of June 6th, 2022.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any questions? Hearing none. All in favor of the consent agenda as submitted, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Fire Chief's report. She's been putting out fires.
Yeah. Chief's report for May of 2022. Attended one meeting. That was the Harsens Island St. Clair Flats Association meeting on the island. The Coast Guard did have a meeting up at the OC to cover Jobby Nooner this year. I did not attend that meeting, but I did speak with the Coast Guard and the Marine Division, St. Clair County Marine Division. They plan on having it, the command post on land at Tajmo South. They're not going to have the Bristol Bay out there this year, so we'll be running it from the land. They did ask us to put the balloons up this year, get a porta potty for that site. So I do have balloons from last year. I did call for a porta potty so we'll have it down there for our guys. We will be doing.
I could have given the code.
Yeah. We will be doing some patrol out there, not as much as we normally did in the years past. Fireboat 1 is still not in the water. We're waiting for an oil pump to come in because of the supply chain. It's on back order, so we hope to get it this week. It's supposed to be shipped out on the 3rd of, should have been shipped out on the 3rd of June, so we should get it this week. Once that comes in, they'll put it in, and then we'll put our boat back in service. Utility 2, we had to have some repairs done to that. We had to put a particular matter sensor in it and also an EGR valve. That was done at Bill McDonald Ford up in St. Clair, so that's back in service. And then I also would like to thank the ladies from the Flower Club on the island. They planted flowers at the fire station on the island. They did a nice job. I really appreciate it. They look out for us over there.
That's great.
Looks good.
Don't let those flowers die.
Nope.
Hey, and a question on the Jobby Nooner, who's paying for the porta potties?
We do, because our guys use it.
Is the Jobby Nooner a sanctioned event now?
Never been a
I
sanction.
know it's never been a sanctioned event. Is it a sanctioned event now?
No.
Why are we paying for porta potties?
Well, we could,
Because if we don't, the mess is gonna be worse than the.
right,
than the
well,
cost.
I don't think the owner of the property would allow us to use their property as a command center if, without proper facilities.
It's not for the public, right? It's
Right,
No,
it's not
just
for the
our
public.
guys,
Yeah.
for our men.
For the firemen.
Yep, it's a non-sanctioned event on federal property too. Gull Island is owned by the federal government.
Yep.
So. All right, any questions? Thanks, chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, under new business, first we have the assessor's employment contract. I have it presented in front of you.
I would like to make a motion to postpone that contract until after we have a budget hearing.
Okay, we can postpone it.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support for postponing it to the budget meeting, after the budget meeting. Any discussion?
Okay, what are we postponing? The entire new business?
The contract for Sherry.
Or the contractor for sure?
Just because we haven't had a chance to look at our numbers, I mean, we keep saying we need to circle our wagons and, you know, so I'd just like to be able to look and see where we're sitting before we start approving numbers that financially are going to affect us as a whole for
Makes
going
sense.
forward.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. That's postponed. B, the St. Clair County Parks Millage Distribution Request. This is a yearly thing. And what they do is a portion of the property tax, they refund back to the individual communities. And I always had a bone to pick how they calculate it, because they calculate, we pay them on our values of our property. But the money comes back to us on our population, not on our values, on our population. And since less than half of us of the population here is homesteaded, so I believe we don't get our fair share, but I voice that opinion every year with them, and they say, yes, thank you for your opinion, Artie. You want it or not? Take it or leave it, so.
Wow.
Well, probably have to do a roll call for this, right, Cindy?
Probably should.
Yeah.
We have to have a motion first, though.
Is that?
So we need a motion first, though. I mean, I'll make a motion to accept the St. Clair County Parks Millage Distribution Request.
Yeah.
Or
Okay, motion and support. Any discussion on that?
so we're slated to receive $43,257.
Right, and it's gone down.
Yep, it was, last year we received $44,192.
Right. So we're getting a little less, $1,000 or so, so. All right, any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Christy Hilton.
Yes.
Crystal Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Mark Burchard.
Yes.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next, we have a FEMA Ordinance amendment to our high water floodplain management ordinance 64. I'm not sure, about 8 years ago, FEMA wanted to adopt new maps, and actually, the panels are all up on the back wall. And it nets out what they did a new area that's considered impacted by wind, which they didn't have before, and that's the yellow. There's 4 structures that will be added in the yellow portion in Clay Township. And they also reduced the the high water, the whole high water district, I guess you would call it, in the township, and that's in the red. They took out the northeast corner of Harsens Island, part of Algonac, and so there's actually 137 structures that are out of the high water plain now with the new maps. And it hasn't been too much talk in the last year or two, but about 2 or 3 years, I was very active in it. And one thing that this goes into effect, end of July, I believe, the rates for flood insurance are going to go up. I heard about 20%.
Oh, that's terrific.
But if, I want people to understand this or listen to it, and this was took a lot of negotiation. If you have a current flood insurance policy, you're frozen, your rate's frozen, you're grandfathered in.
Oh.
If you sell your house, it's transferable to the new owner, the rates. So, I've been telling people, if you're going to sell your house in the next couple of years, it might behoove you to get the rate now to help, because I assume most people have a mortgage if they buy a new house. Not all, I get it, but that option is important, and we fought hard to get it frozen and get it transferable, as long as there's no lapse in coverage, is transferable to the new owners.
And that's an option available through July 19th when it becomes effective?
Yes.
The ordinance? Okay.
So, if you need flood insurance, get it now. Your rates are going to be frozen. Pardon the pun. But, and so that's it. And what this is, I wasn't here then, but in 2010, they passed a similar one. You recognize the panels on the maps, and then there was, what's this building code?
Act number 230,
Yes,
the Public Acts 1972.
right. So
I'll make
what's before us.
a motion to approve the ordinance amendment 64B with the Michigan Community Resolution to manage floodplain development for the National Flood Insurance Program.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Any more discussion?
So I have a question about, I have flood insurance, but I have a lower mortgage. So if I was to raise it, am I still grandfathered in? Like, say I'm only, just for odd numbers, I sell my house for $200,000, but currently I only have flood insurance on 50. They can only get 50, and then they have to pay the higher amount if they mortgage more?
I can answer that.
Okay.
The flood insurance is based on the valuation of your home and replacement cost.
Right.
That's what it is. It doesn't matter what your mortgage is.
They don't consider your mortgage.
Well, they do it where I get insurance. Whatever my mortgage is
No,
what I get the FEMA for.
If you got any kind of mortgage on your home, normally the banks are going to want flood insurance, period. It doesn't matter if you owe 50 on a $500,000 home or not. You're going to be paying replacement value. That's
Because
the way
every
it's
year I've gotten a lower and lower rate, just
on
on
what,
what,
flood insurance?
on flood insurance, yeah,
Okay.
from what my mortgage is.
I would refer people to their insurance
Okay,
person, but
I was just curious, if it's grandfathered, if they can use it.
As a layman with very little experience, I've settled 3 claims with FEMA. And if I write $100,000 worth of damage,
that's what.
FEMA has settled on 50.
I know they don't pay.
They
out.
pay half of what I assess the damages to be.
Yeah, I know they
So
don't
my
pay out.
advice to you is get as much as you can grab, which makes sense to cover your home.
But I know I'm not gonna flood.
Understanding
I'm way
that-
high.
There's still gonna be some negotiations if FEMA has to step in.
Yeah.
They're tough to deal with.
Yeah, they are.
They're very rigid. They're very rigid.
I'm not a fan, but
And on these properties, the 135 properties, are we gonna be contacting those folks to let them know?
they know.
Oh, okay.
137, yeah, they know. And what else was I gonna say? Oh, I remember it was about 5, 6 years ago, I wanted to go rogue on them and not approve the FEMA deal, and talking to Candace Miller about it. She was in Washington then, and she goes, "Oh, I'm there, right there with you, Artie, but if you don't go ahead and approve it, then we're not a participating community, and then the FEMA rate is actually 3 or 4 times higher than what it is." So they got, it's like, oh my gosh. Then I went out and got a quote from Lloyd's of London for doing the whole township, which would be cheaper, but that didn't
Didn't fly.
fly with the gov. So
We need a roll call.
anyhow, any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Christy Hilton.
Yes.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. All right, next we have a procurement policy. This is a federal procurement policy with conflict of interest for, and this is actually has to do with us spending ARPA funds.
Just housekeeping. Probably should have passed it a few months back, but
Yep.
we haven't spent anything, so it wasn't dire at the point.
Board, I'll make a motion to approve the financial administration bids and quotes procurement policy from the federal funds conflict of interest.
Support.
Okay, a motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. I think we can do a roll call on this.
Christy Hilton.
Yes.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes. All right, next, last but not least, we have insurance renewal with John from Burnham Flowers. Want to introduce yourself? And
Yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is John Johnson. I am with Burnham Flower Insurance Group. I am here to present a renewal proposal for your township's property and liability insurance. I also had worked with Cindy on running a quote for the workman's compensation as well, but I thought for today's purposes, probably cover the property and liability a bit more today, answer any questions you might have, and introduce you or reintroduce you possibly to a program that you may be familiar with. So everyone should have a folder, hopefully, and I had included quite a bit of information in these folders. I wanted to mostly focus on the right-hand side of the folder, which has, other than the cover letter, it has what's titled Michigan Township Participating Plan Advantages, kind of just a highlight page. And then behind that, you'll see the actual July 1 of 2022 proposal, which again is through the Michigan Township Participation Plan, or the PAR plan, it's sometimes referred to. So currently, you are not a member of the PAR plan. Years ago, you were members of the program, and then you've since made a change. I believe you worked with my predecessor, Larry Clair, for a number of years. He's since retired, and so I'm actually the one that was privileged enough to fill in for Larry. On the highlights page here, which is just the one pager, I'll quickly point out just a few things there, and then briefly go through the proposal itself, and again, answer any questions. So, first things first, we want to give you your overall annual premium, and you'll see the program premium, again, through the PAR plan. If you were to make a change and re-enroll in the PAR plan this year, would be just over $120,000. Highlight of liability coverage. So the way the PAR plan quotes liability within their policy is on a per occurrence form with no aggregate. And aggregate means you can have a cap on a set number of liability dollars in a term. So essentially, if you were to make this change, your only maximum would be a per claim maximum. And you'll see we have your per occurrence limit listed there. So that would be for general liability, auto liability, the public officials liability, and the law liability as well. All those liability sections would have that maximum per occurrence limit. One unique feature within the policy as well is that the PAR plan covers property, which are your structures, on a blanket valuation. So essentially what they do is they take your whole property schedule and come up with one large subtotal or one bucket of property coverage. And essentially for any one claim, you're able to pull from that large bucket of coverage, even if it's just one facility, let's say, that was damaged or needed repair. And then lastly, we had quoted all of your fire vehicles specifically under what's called replacement cost valuation. Generally, carriers that are able to offer it will offer replacement cost coverage for those fire vehicles because they are such a high dollar vehicle. So replacement cost essentially is repair or replace to the stated value. And then I did list an extension that we have within our package, which allows at the time of loss for a member to purchase an additional 25% coverage if need be, especially the last few years with supply chain issues and things like that. We've seen that if and when we've had insureds maybe have a totaled out vehicle, we're not able to find a like kind and quality comparison, so we have to actually upgrade them. And in that case, that 25% buffer is nice to have. The PAR plan does offer a grant, which we call our risk reduction grant. All members within the program are eligible for this grant, and it is offered 2 times per year, once in the spring, once in the fall. The spring window is April through May, and then the fall window is October through November. And members are able to receive up to $5,000 per 12-month span. So essentially every year you're re-eligible for a grant. And it's for more or less safety equipment type purchases. So on the left-hand side of your folder, you'll see that hopefully that top page has just some commonly approved grant examples for your consideration. But the list is much longer than this. These are just some examples for you to reference. You'll see things like dash cameras, backup cameras, things like that, security systems. But again, it's a wide variety of items that can be applied for and hopefully approved.
It won't be hard to figure that.
Yeah. And essentially when we're looking at this grant, kind of try to put yourself in the insurance company's shoes and what type of purchase or improvement to your facilities would help lower the possibility of a claim. And likely we'd be able to get you approved for that. To date, the PAR plan has issued just over $2 million in grant funds to all of its members. And I know they have great feedback on this program, and we hope to be able to continue the grant for many, many years to come. Members of the program are also eligible for dividend distributions. Years ago, I believe it was in 2015, you had received a dividend distribution, so I had listed that there if it was just under $1,000. To date, as a program, they've distributed just about $7 million in distribution funds. And the way this dividend program works is essentially on a 3-year lag. So the PAR plan has to set aside a certain amount of its overall premium dollars aside for claims, and then if over a 3-year span the amount that they had set aside is not used, that's when they're able to issue those dividend distribution dollars. So they did just approve their 2022 dividend. I think those funds went out last month, and so again, if you are if you do decide to re-enroll within the program, essentially in 2 renewals from now, you would be eligible for your first dividend. Safety and risk management is a big part and a big service that the PAR plan offers its members, and so there's a wide variety of things that are included in that service. A new one and a fairly new benefit is what we call HR Muni, which is essentially an HR portal and a service that members are able to take advantage of for a wide variety of HR issues, whether it's employee complaints, if you need a second opinion on a hiring, firing situation, a wide variety of things. There is a flyer on the left-hand side of the folder here that gives you some information on that. There's an 800 number that you can use, and there's also a website with a portal with a wide variety of sample documents and policies and procedures and things like that that you can use. In addition to HR Muni, the PAR plan does have a number of seminars that they've put together for our different members over the years. Sometimes they'll do a seminar specific to fire and training, maybe specific to police force and some new up-and-coming things that they have to take into consideration, or just, the general township employees. And then lastly, on-site safety assessments. So generally, the risk control group tries to do what they call an on-site visit once every 3 or so years, where they will do a walk around of your facility. They will do Marshall and Swift appraisals on your facilities to make sure we have those adequately covered. And then if there are any outlying liabilities that they notice, maybe some equipment that's damaged, your roof's fallen off in certain areas, things like that, they'll put that together in a report and they'll let us and know some recommendations. One thing the PAR plan really takes pride in is its strength in numbers, and so you'll see currently there's more than 1,200, it's closer to 1,300 members within the program. The breakdown of the membership is about 900 townships, and then the remaining members are other municipal entities, whether it's villages, cities, water authorities, things like that. I know in the near area there's about 17 other members within the county or within the neighboring counties as well. And as far as townships go, currently with the number of 900 plus townships, it's the number one program for townships. So we'd love to get you back in the program. Legal representation. Because of the size of the program, the PAR plan is able to retain some very specialized, very professional legal teams, really best in class when we talk about law, Michigan law, township law. I listed a few of the law firms that I believe you may have some history with as well. Foster Swift, Collins, Smith, and McGraw Morris are some notable firms in the area. And then lastly, claims payment. The big question with insurance is, we have the insurance, do you pay claims? And so historically with you, with your membership, the PAR plan did pay a high volume of claims years past. It does appear that there's been some improvement in that area, which we love to see. Give you some figures there. They did pay quite a few claims in years past, but with that improved 5-year loss ratio, I think we were able to give you a competitive quote and bid this year, so we were happy to see that. I guess before I do just a real brief overview of the proposal, were there any questions on any of those highlights that I just covered? Okay.
I got a quick question. How about errors and omissions? I didn't see it anywhere. Is that typically something you apply to townships?
Yes.
E&O coverage?
So some
We have
programs
experience
refer to
with
that. Good question. Some policies refer to that as E&O coverage. We refer to that as public officials liability. So I'll cover that in the proposal.
Okay.
The POL, the public officials liability, does extend to you, the board, for all of your action and decisions you take and make on behalf of the township. Yep.
Thank you.
Sometimes those are synonymous terms when we're talking insurance coverage.
You're talking about errors and omissions? Okay.
So as far as the proposal goes, the coverage portion of that document begins on page 7. And again, I'll just do a quick overview of this. First of which is the comprehensive general liability. So see, as I mentioned, we have a per occurrence limit with no aggregate, which is listed there. Currently, there is a slight deductible for this GL coverage and a number of sublimits within that section as well. On page 8, you'll see a list of extensions of the comprehensive general liability. Many of these have been added to our policy document over the years. Section B, employee benefits liability. This is one area where we do have an aggregate. It is actually technically a sublimit of the GL, and this is for employee benefit issues or discrepancies, most commonly pension or retirement program issues, potentially health insurance coverage issues, or work comp issues. If there's any issues with those programs and maybe a benefit that an employee believes they were promised but it's not delivered, this is when that section would come in to defend the township and pay on your behalf if found more or less at fault.
With no deductible.
Yes, correct. No deductible for the employee benefits liability. Next is the public officials, and you'll see in parentheses there, we sometimes refer to as E&O or even wrongful acts, depending on the carrier. You'll see we have that same per occurrence limit as the general liability. No deductible within the public officials liability as well. There are two sublimits within that section at the bottom of Part C, one of which is called non-monetary defense coverage. So you'll see there is a per suit and then an annual aggregate for those unique type claims that maybe don't fall either under a traditional zoning claim or a traditional POL claim. And then you'll see the next line item is the private property use restriction coverage or zoning. Next, we have the law and code enforcement liability. So again, same per occurrence limit with no aggregate. We do have a deductible for any law enforcement liability claim. And then lastly, auto liability, which again, same limit there, but no deductible for auto liability. On pages 11, 12, and 13, we have our vehicle schedule. So you'll see we have those first fire vehicles covered under that replacement cost valuation. All of the remaining vehicles, whether they're DPW, township vehicles, or police, are going to be covered under actual cash value, which generally takes into consideration depreciation. Pages 14 and 15 is our property schedule, and again, we've worked with Cindy on getting all of these schedules up to date, so these should reflect today's current need for all of the buildings and contents as well. I had mentioned how the power plan covers property under a blanket valuation. So if you reference on page 15, that second box there, you'll see total building and contents coverage. So essentially that's the subtotal of all of your structures and contents into that one large bucket of property coverage. And essentially you have up to that limit for any one claim in a policy term. On page 16, similar to the liability, there's a list of extensions of property coverage this time. And then on page 17, we have what's called electronic data processing coverage, which is more or less tech, computers, printers, phones, fax machines, and so on. And then we have what's called inland marine, which is mobile equipment. So again, we've worked with you guys on getting this schedule updated. You'll see a wide variety of specifically scheduled items, and then we do have just some miscellaneous property and equipment or ancillary equipment as well for those odds and ends items that aren't specifically scheduled. And then finally, on page 20, we have the crime and bonding coverage. So this has to do with township funds. You'll see the different limits for things like theft, mysterious disappearance, and so on. And then we have the bonded positions. Generally, treasurer is going to carry the highest bond, and we kind of go down the line from there. And then on page 21, you'll see our proposal summary invoice as presented.
And it's noted too, we have the option $567 for terrorism coverage.
Support.
Which
Seems like a deal.
see that you guys are partnered with Lexipol, so we just need to let them know that we are working with the power plan if the board
Yes, so
chooses to do that?
one benefit is power plan members do receive a discount if you are enrolled in Lexipol or if you plan to. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure what that discount is, but.
It says 10% right here, which we're currently with Lexipol,
Okay,
so
yep.
It said 10%?
10%.
Okay.
So I don't know, like I always say, I'm new, but our wastewater treatment plant, was the county insuring that before, or were the 3 townships, is that somewhere in here? Our wastewater treatment plant?
It's county.
Okay, so now we're gonna have to take that over and insure it.
The authority will.
Right,
And we'll
okay,
probably be contacting him for a quote.
okay, so the county was paying for that before.
Yep.
So
Got it.
Jen, did you mention cyber, any type of cybersecurity?
Yes, so what I didn't have time because of the kind of the short timeline here was to get you a cyber quote. We do work with a number of cyber carriers currently.
Okay.
I wasn't sure, are you currently enrolled in a cyber liability program?
Is that part of our policy right now?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Okay.
It was an add-on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our primary carrier right now is CFC. They're a new Acrisure partner that we're able to take advantage of for cyber coverage. Those policies, because it's such a new market, we're seeing quite a bit of fluctuation in the ratings from carrier to carrier. And so what I could do is, probably by tomorrow, is get a few questions answered about your current cyber situation and then run those quotes through our different carriers.
Okay.
Currently, CFC with our book of business seems to be the best rated, but I can definitely provide that to you as well.
Not sure who underwrites our current.
I'd have to pull it.
Can check. We'll check on that tomorrow. And we're also working with him on our work comp, right?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, I didn't include anything in your
Right.
packets
No, that's
for that, but we did run that. We're independent when it comes to work comp coverage, and so I did run that through our different carriers, and we did come up with a price through our portal system. So,
Any questions? Any motions?
We have a quote already from who we currently
Yes.
have and how it compares, or do we wanna just?
With Power Plan, it's a 12.4 reduction in our current rate. And with our current holder, it was a 2.9% increase. So we're saving about over $17,000.
So their quote was around 140
Right, right.
annually? And then if we get 10% off this, it'll take it down to 108.
No, the 10% is off the Lexipol training for
Of
the fire
flexible
employees.
training.
Oh, okay. That's just a portion.
So that's why we were aggressive in shopping it. And like I say, we used to be with Power Plan years ago. And they value our business and they definitely would like to get it back.
What cost has incurred with the additional plans?
with cyber.
Yeah.
So the way those are underwritten is it generally depends on the size of your budget.
Yeah.
The larger your budget, generally the more possibility that someone will try to breach your system and get those funds. And so that's the main question when we're quoting cyber is, what's your annual budget? They also do ask some underwriting questions as far as, do you have your firewall set up? How often do you have your data backups, maybe offsite, things like that? That can apply credits to your cost, but most carriers right now in that industry just look at that top line budget and go from there, so.
Okay. So,
I'll make a motion to approve the liability insurance through Burnham Flower with the Michigan Power Plan.
And you want to put in there and add the limited terrorism coverage?
With limited terrorism coverage.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the Power Plan proposal with limited terrorism coverage. Is there a second?
I'll support.
Okay, we have support. Any more discussion?
I mean, do we know that it compares to our current plan, like
Yes,
everything?
oh, it's better, because
Okay.
the current program had aggregates, where a lot of these don't.
Okay. And then do we want to, like, our current plan has cybersecurity, and he hasn't quoted that yet, so do we need to wait till we get that?
Cybersecurity isn't that much, believe me, it's still gonna be cheaper.
Yeah, I would anticipate that a cyber policy for your size township would be between $3,000 and $5,000. I'm not sure what your current cyber policy premium is, but I would assume it's in line with that
It's
as well.
about $3,000.
And what we've seen is most carriers are right in that range for this size policy. First thing tomorrow, I'll get you those prices as soon as I can, and technically, though, it will be a separate policy from this. So that won't be wrapped into the PAR plan package. It will be a third-party policy through a different carrier that specializes in
When
cyber
that is
coverage.
quoted, do you look at our firewall systems and all that other?
I don't know how
Security
close
aspect?
they look at your firewalls, and I don't know if they even question who you use for that service or things like that. Even just a few years ago, they didn't ask any of those underwriting questions, and what we've seen is, especially during COVID, there were many more claims being submitted because people were working from home or working on personal computers, things like that. And so the underwriting is becoming a little bit more lengthy to do now than just a few years ago. But what we've seen is that although prices are fluctuating from carrier to carrier, they're not too drastically far apart, so.
And who else have we shopped? You said you've been shopping this aggressively?
Well, we got quotes with, who's our, it's Stephen Saff, but the underwriter is
Trident.
Trident. There's only so many underwriters.
Now, that quote was a lot higher?
Yeah, it was $17,000 more.
Oh, that's who we have currently?
Yes.
So what are we paying currently?
It would be, the renewal would be $17,000 more than what we're paying now with this.
And then we're going to have to add the wastewater treatment plant later.
That would be up to the authority.
That has nothing to do with our
That has
board.
nothing to do with us.
Right.
We're Clay Township, that's completely
That's a
separate.
different animal.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's going to add to our budget, you know.
No, it's a wastewater treatment plant.
Clay Township is going to have to pay for a third of it. The county's paying for it now.
We're gonna pay the same thing we always paid, and instead of the county getting insurance for it, the authority will get insurance for it, but it has nothing to do with this Clay Township board.
But the county's not going to pay for it anymore, so the authority is going to have Clay pay for it.
Right, so instead of paying what we
Right.
pay for sewer to the county, we're just gonna pay it to the authority. But it has nothing to do with this board or what we currently insure right now.
Okay.
All that's changing is the up top decision makers.
Jonathan, if we approve this as listed, do we have the ability to apply more property coverage at a later date?
Yes. Essentially, what would happen is because this is a July 1 renewal or expiration of your current program, effective July 1, you would then be a new member of the PAR plan. After that date, after 12/01 on July 1, any purchases, any improvements that you make to your facilities, if you acquire new properties, things like that, we just add as a midterm endorsement. And generally, depending on how expensive the building is, if the premium to do so is less than a few $100s, they'll just waive that premium. If it's an extensive facility that would require significant insurance, they would just send you a midterm invoice for whatever additional coverage that would be.
Just perusing the building coverages, and buildings are very expensive right now, but I think it's more in line, but the content coverage just strikes me as maybe a little bit light.
So one thing about contents is that is generally going to be more of your furnishings, things that aren't coming in and out of your facilities.
Yeah, I understand that part.
In addition, it's going to be, the inland marine and so on.
Yeah.
But if
residentially speaking, right, it's a minimum of 40, right?
Generally they do it on a
Up to 60.
Yep.
And most of this stuff is hitting somewhere around 20 to 24, right? So I just want, I don't want to get into finite
Yeah.
details, but as long as we have the option to add additional coverage if we do a little introspection and
Definitely.
we find that we may need a little
Yep.
bit more.
Whether it's building, contents, or inland marine, we can tweak all of those as you
Thank
see
you.
fit.
Just curious, our liability coverage covers the, say, the pier, the beach park, the new beach property we have coming in? Any
That's
of the
not our
liability-
property.
That's not our property.
That's not our property.
So we're accounting for all township-owned facilities.
County towers covered?
Yes.
So it's basically the township, the police department, the fire department, the cemetery, the DPW, pump stations, the Harsens Island Fire Department. Only things that the pavilion, the restrooms, and the concession stand.
Things the township owns.
Yes, Clay Township property.
Yep.
And we're only approving for 1 year, so it goes year to year, right? We're not approving a
It is an
multi-year
annual
contract.
policy, yep.
So getting back to my original question on the beach park property, who covers that for liability?
It'll be the county, it's a county
Okay.
park.
So we're not gonna have any,
We-
we're not
we
gonna have
don't
any
own it.
liability whatsoever with it?
No.
Okay, all right.
I just wondered if there was anybody else, and you're saying it's just the current people that we have and these guys that we can insure from. Nobody else really specializes in townships?
Well, there's a few, and well, like I say, we shopped it pretty aggressively. The others didn't even quote. It's a lot of work to do these quotes, and I give kudos to Cindy.
She had to get all this information together, or they took it from
And
their
like
other
I
quote.
say, we were looking at a 3% increase, and this one's a 12.4% decrease, plus a little better coverage. To me, that's a no-brainer.
Yep,
Agreed.
okay.
We have motion and support.
We do.
Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Kristi Hilton?
Yes.
Chris O'Regan?
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Mark Bouchard?
Yes.
Maureen Bory?
Yes.
Joanne Shirkey?
Yes.
Artie Bryson?
Yes. All right, motion passes. Thank you,
Thank you for your
John.
time.
Thank you, John.
And I'll get you the cyber figures
Yep.
by the end of the week, 'cause I know you have another meeting later this month, so.
Yeah, we'll be talking.
Okay, sounds great, thank you.
Yep, thank you much. All right, that concludes our new business. Board member comments, Cindy.
Just congratulations to Jerry. Good job on his S2 license. Nice to hear. That's all I got.
Yep. Mark?
Yeah, we had a planning commission, May 25th. I was unable to attend, however, we did get a pretty much detailed report. I believe everybody on the board received that. Just a little short memo with it. The rezoning on Harsens Island partially was granted for that. No new business. The text amendments was postponed due to I'll go with that. And that's it.
All right, thank you. Maureen?
I just want to say thanks to Chris O'Regan over there for your expertise and help making us whole in that situation. I don't know if anyone saw the video Cindy Babish was in for Music in the Park.
Yes,
That was great.
it was very good,
Yeah, I
yes.
just wanted to say she did a really great job representing everybody. And then we have June 14th, the North Channel Park is what they're calling the park across from Catch 22. So just remind everyone to be there at 6. I did email some concerns, and if anybody wants to see them, just let me know. And then I don't know if y'all got my email about last week when you commented about the Planning Commission. I don't know if you were going to say anything about that, Joanne? About them having more than one meeting? Well,
I'm not. I said what I said.
well, I contacted Kathy Schweikart, and, when I saw that, because I was concerned, do we need to have more meetings? She said she spoke with Cindy Babish, she spoke with the new planner, And one meeting is all that all that we need at this time with business. So I just wanted to apologize to the planning commission on
what?
behalf of the board, because I think, she hadn't talked to Kathy or anyone about it. In board comments, she said that the planning commission isn't doing their job.
She asked why the planning commission wasn't meeting more than once a month.
Well, it felt offensive to me. I don't know.
To ask a question?
Well, they seem to say, why is she not coming to us first? And I think
Well, she
Ask
asked
Mark a
Mark.
question.
He's the representative.
well,
I mean, if we have to apologize to it for asking a question, there's a lot of us that would have to do a lot of apologizing.
well, I know that, you said you were going to email her. She saw the meeting. She didn't get an email on behalf of Joanne. Already said he was going to email her. I just
Tell you one
wanted,
thing right now, quit talking. I talked to Kathy at length, personally, so it's taken.
well, with principles of governance, Joanne, you're not really treating me with a lot of respect right now, and I think that,
That's your opinion.
Well, I think both of us are
I
we're all
just
getting
wanted
out
to
of
say,
order.
I just wanted to
I-
let the
I
board
would-
know,
I
I
would-
want to let the public know that this was not something that the planning commission decided on themselves. They talked to Cindy Babish, they talked to
Okay,
the,
you made your point, but you're apologizing for another board member. It's up to that board member to apologize, not, you don't apologize for other board members.
I apologize to the planning commission because I feel like we should have contacted them first before, kind of saying.
I'm not following your drift on any of this, but to tell you the truth, the way the planning commission is set up, we meet once a month, 12 months out of the year. If there's any special needs that are required after that, we call another planning commission meeting. In the past, we have met twice a month, okay? And then
Like the end of last year, you were having a couple meetings a month.
Yeah, as we're having a meeting there, we're looking at each other, so we did once a month.
If
So
it's
we
needed.
try to make it feasible economically, and that's it. So, we never let anything go by the wayside. We look at every site plan that comes in.
Okay.
Joanne?
No, I have nothing to say.
Okay, Chris?
Well, I got a couple things.
Good.
Yeah, I saw the no limits fishing charter out on the river.
Yes.
And he had looked like to be veterans. They were wearing like veterans hats, and it was like a full boat. There were a couple of deckhands. There were rods. They looked like they were walleye fishing. It
You
was
can
just
take up 2 wheelchairs.
It was kind of neat.
It is.
It was. We've been talking about this for a long time. They proposed it, and it's up and running. So that's a neat thing. I'd like to see that. Congratulations to the Algonac baseball team and the Algonac softball team, both who are district champs.
Big time.
And they are on to bigger and better things this week, and we wish them well.
Thank you.
Yes.
Congratulations to Jerry, and I'll give you a little PSA today. My PSA, and I did it over the weekend, it's a terrible job. But if you haven't cleaned your gutters or your downspouts this spring, it's time.
Helicopters.
Right? There's so many helicopters and different crap that gets clogged in there that they're ineffective. They're completely ineffective. So if you want the water to continue to go away from your house, make sure your gutter and eaves troughs are cleaned up. That's all I got.
Okay, Chrissy?
I want to say congratulations to the class of 2022. They graduate on Friday. Hopefully, we don't have rain, so they can have that outside. And then also, we started, or we're working this week on our 2022 tax database.
Oh,
So we'll
boy.
be collecting tax soon.
All right.
So everyone look forward to that.
That's so exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, congratulations to our baseball, softball teams, to all the graduating seniors. I did have some sad news that I want to mention. The community lost a good friend of mine and of the community, Cindy Goulet. She passed this morning. My condolences to her family and thoughts and prayers. And I just wanted to give follow Chris a little PSA. We had a horrific motorcycle accident out here. We've had quite a few accidents actually, and And I'm guilty of this too myself. I'm just telling people, you can be having a really great day, having fun, sun's out, we're all having fun. And a lot of times, you're in a hurry. Things can go bad in a hurry. Life-changing events can happen in a hurry. So just slow down, think a little more, be aware of your surroundings. Slow down and enjoy yourself a little more. Don't be in such a hurry. So, and hopefully, nothing tragic or life-changing would happen to you or the people around you. So that's
Can I add one thing to that?
Yeah.
I'm always telling my kids, don't just be alert for yourself, but be
Right.
watching other people, because they think that I'm harping at them about their driving, but you have to watch. You have to be alert for other people's driving as well. And it doesn't matter if it's raining, if the weather conditions are bad, you have to be alert. If it's sunny, people are listening to the radio, they're looking at trees or whatever. You
On
have
the
to be alert
phones.
all the time,
Yep.
because you can change someone's life, or your life can be changed in an instant.
Drastically.
Forever.
So it's just not worth it. So everyone take your time and enjoy yourselves. That's all I got to say. One more motion.
Motion to adjourn.
All right. Support. Thank you for coming. Good meeting, everybody.